Hey guys, it's Penguin here, and welcome back to another gold making video. Today I'm going to be breaking down how you can make enough gold every single month to make sure that you are able to afford a WoW token despite if you are EU or NA, and we're going to be talking about some real world examples, and I'm going to just break down exactly how I go through it, and I'm going to show you exactly how I've done it as well. Now, if you guys have noticed, I am actually not on my standard character, and that is because this is my EU account. If you guys do not know, if you are not from the Discord or from Twitch, I'm currently doing a challenge where I try to make enough gold in order to purchase Shadowlands on EU with no help, basically. Basically just doing farming and everything like that and trying to get enough gold in order to purchase Shadowlands. The really hard thing about this is that I'm starting from scratch since EU and NA is completely different. I don't have any previous gold. I have 0 mounts, everything like that. So this is legit starting from scratch. I had to level this character and everything like that. So I'm going to use this and actually show you guys the step-by-step process that I took in order to make as much gold as I have. Now currently I'm not sitting on a ton of gold. However, I'm going to show you why and everything like that. So getting started, we need to discuss the actual token prices. Now, as of today, it is actually the day after TBC has released, the pre-patch that is, and because of that, the tokens have kind of gone berserk, and we don't exactly know where they're going to end up. So for these two examples with the WoW tokens, I have rounded them up to be very high, just to make sure we are not underestimating the possibility of the tokens rising. So for US, we're going to count the token being 200k, and for the EU token, we're going to count it at 300k. Now, it might be a little bit over that, or it might be under that, depending on the time you're watching this video. However, you can, of course, do your own calculations in order to determine exactly how much you have to make per day. Now, getting started with the US token, if we value it at 200k gold, and a subscription being 30 days, that means taking that 200k and dividing it by 30, it comes out to 7,777 gold every single day, and that's how much profit you have to make per day in order to reach that 200k mark. So basically, it's like 7.8k. So for the EU token, it's 300,000 divided by 30, which leaves us with a solid 10,000 gold that you have to make every single day in order to make enough gold in order to purchase a WoW token. So for US, it's going to be a little under 8,000, and for EU, it's going to be about 10,000 gold. But from now on, we're just going to reference it as 10,000 because we are playing on EU, and just because that is the bigger amount. However, keep in mind, if you are US, you probably can change a little bit of the numbers that we're going to be talking about because you guys do have a cheaper token. Now, with the token price and our goal in mind, which our goal is to make 10,000 profit a day, there are many ways to go about this. Now, there is farming, there is flipping, there is crafting, there's so many different ways that you can make gold in the game. However, the issue is exactly the fastest and the easiest way for beginners. Now, what I would recommend for all of you, if you are beginners, if you do not have a lot of experience, and you also do not have a lot of characters or current value of gold, you want to look into farming. Now, farming can be mining, herbalism, or skinning. They are all considered gathering professions, and that is exactly what you want in order to start gold making. Now, the reason why I always suggest farming is that it helps you build your gold inventory without any investments. For example, yes, you can craft bags, and maybe you make a 50 gold profit per bag, but if that bag sells for 250 gold, you have to invest 200 gold into it in order to get a 50 profit out of it. However, with farming, all you have to do is invest your time. So yes, you are still investing into it. However, it is not a monetary investment with your gold. It is just a time investment, which is very easy to do if you are a beginner because you probably don't have a lot of gold to spend. Also, with farming, if you do not have a lot of alts, there are plenty of farms that you can do with only one character, while with crafting, you need access to a lot of professions. However, only one character will hold 2 professions. So you definitely want to get farming, and we'll discuss the best professions for you in just a second. Another big thing that plays into gold making is market changes and knowing your auction house. That means you have to realize whenever an item is really, really cheap, when you can buy it out and then you can either use it or you can sell it later when it's more expensive. And the only reason to really find these trends is just to observe for a few weeks, for a few days, for a few hours, and just see kind of the trends of your auction house. Of course, you can examine graphs and everything like this, but to get a really solid understanding of it, you just have to learn it from personal experience. So farming is going to allow you to get materials to post on the auction house, and you will slowly find trends and everything like that, and it'll get you a lot more comfortable with the auction house itself. Now, going into the 3 professions that I said earlier, we have mining, herbalism, as well as skinning. Now, I would always suggest mining and herbalism. They go together really well. Normally, there's some routes that intersect each other, so you can go to the same place doing the same circle, and you'll be able to pick up herbs as well as ore. So I would highly suggest those as your top 2 picks. However, if you are somebody who knows you like skinning and you don't really want to do herbalism or mining, vice versa, then you can definitely pick up skinning as well. However, I do believe that mining and herbalism is a bit more versatile. However, it completely depends on you, and once again, it's just a personal preference. With that being said, the best class to farm is definitely hands down a druid, because of the simple fact that they can mount up super quick, just like this, and if you are picking herbs, you don't even get dismounted, and so you are constantly flying. Now, for mining, you do get dismounted, which means that you will always have to remount, but because it's instant and you're not waiting for that few seconds of queuing your mount, that is why druids are so good. Also, if you're doing non-profession material farms with groups, druids have really nice AoE and mobility, so you are able to kill a lot of mobs really fast and cover a lot of ground. However, if you do not have a druid, it is not the end of the world. I would suggest leveling one if you ever get the time to. However, you can of course do this without a druid. However, you just might need to put a little bit more time in order to make sure you're still getting the most that you can out of your month's worth of game time. Now, I'm going to show you guys a few examples and exactly what I do whenever I'm on a new realm, or just a new account to show you guys how I've actually made gold from scratch. So if we look at my TSM, as you can see, I only have one character, and if I go to my old data, I started this character on April 22nd, which is about a month ago at this point. Currently, it is May 19th, and we made this April 22nd, so it's basically almost exactly a month. Now, as you can see, the total gold that I have earned is 65k. However, I have spent about 20,000, and my total profit is about 44,000. Now, you can see my graph right here. As you can see, for multiple days, it was very slow until I actually started farming. And in the past 5 days, I have made a lot of gold, and I will show you exactly how. Now, if we do my /played time, as you can see, my total time played is about 24 hours, almost. It's about 1 day of playing. However, you have to keep in mind that I did level this character. Currently, I am at level 46, and I did not start gold farming until I hit that actual 46 number. So for most of these hours, I did not gold farm. And that is exactly what this is right here. This is for me just strictly leveling. I took it very slow. And yes, I did sell a few things on the way. Some cloth that I randomly got, some ore I randomly got. So I did get a few thousand gold also just from simply selling items and completing quests. You also pick up gold. So that is what this is. And then suddenly, I would say around the early May, this is probably like May 9th, May 10th, I actually started gold farming, and as you can see, it has increased a lot over the past 5 days. Keep in mind that the time that I played this level is about 9 hours. Now that is some AFKing, and that is also some flying around, stuff like that. However, I have currently done 5 hours worth of active farming on this character, and I'm going to break those down for you and everything like that. But currently to this day, I have about 9 hours on the max level, or on this 46 level where I've started gold farming, and I've invested about 5 hours of active farming. Now with that being said, we can look at our revenue sales to see what is actually sold. If we are going to go into auction, as you can see, it is just a lot of old world materials. The 5 farms that I have done to this day is I have done volatile fire twice, I have done volatile water once, I have done Primal Fire once, and then I've also done the Arcoa Feathers once, and that equals my 5 farms that I've done. And as you can see, if you look through all of my sales, I've currently made about 64k, and that is from selling Elementium. I've sold plenty of volatiles, I've sold Pyrite, and all of these is from the treasure chest of farming the other volatiles. As you can see, I sold a lot of cloth, This is from the first set of farming, this 560, that is from that first hour of farming that I completed, and that sent me about 19k on its own. And then if we keep going, there's still just a few random items. I sold this random offhand weapon that I got whenever I was killing things for these farms. I've sold some random, really cheap items, so on. I've sold some Essence of Water. And I've also sold a lot of Primal Fire from that one time that we did Primal Fire farming. And as you can see, that equaled about 17k. Now, if you want to look currently on my auction house, I currently have about 33 posted auctions with 135k item value, most of it just being, once again, random items that I've received from treasure chest. As you can see, random transmog pieces that I've decided to keep. I also have some more Essence of Water that hasn't sold. I have volatiles. This is from that second volatile fire farm. I still have 500 of them that needs to sell. I still have life and everything like that. And I still have the 1,000 Arcoa feathers that I farmed that one time. But with that being said, I currently have about 58k in my inventory, and I have about 135k worth on the auction house. Also, if you want to look inside the mailbox, I actually do have some sales. This was a pet that was gathered from the Essence of Water farm. I believe I forgot to mention that. I did do an Essence of Water farm, so that brings our total farm hours to 6 instead of 5. I apologize about that, but that is also something that we have collected through these farms. So, picking that up, that brings our total to actually about 65k. The reason why TSM says that I have made more, for example, it says I've made 72k, that is because I had to purchase the mount, which costed me about 20,000 because I am starting from scratch, so I did have to put in that investment in order to get this mammoth. But guys, the reason why I wanted to take the time to actually show you my progress is because now we can actually look at how much gold we have been making this past month. Now, as you can see, yes, I've been playing on this character for a month, but basically everything since the last 10 days I have actually been leveling, so I've only been actually farming stuff for the past 10 days, and in those 10 days I've only done 6 hours of farming. We're going to focus on that 6-hour number, and as you can see, I'm going to say that about right here is when we did our first farm. So we started at 6,000, and then and we're going to claim this is like May 9th. I'm not exact because the chart's not exact. From May 9th to May 19th, so exactly 10 days, we have gone from 6,000 gold to 65,000 gold. So we have made basically a little under 60,000 gold inside of 10 days. And so if you want to do the math, making 60,000 gold in 10 days, that brings us to 6,000 gold per day. Now, if you guys remember, in order to actually make the WoW token a month, you do need to make at the minimum 8,000 gold if you're US, and you need to earn about 10,000 gold if you're EU. So we still are 4,000 gold underneath, but I'm going to show you exactly why. The reason for this is because I have only spent 6 hours farming, and I also have not been undercutting. Instead of using days, if we want to use the actual time as our variable, we have made 60,000 gold after 6 hours of farming, which brings us exactly to that 10,000 gold mark. Now, the reason that I don't really like to use this as a solid number is because you still need those time in order to actually sell the items. For example, May 9th might have been the day that we go out and do the volatile fire farm, but it did not sell until a few days after, and as you can see from about this is probably like about May 12th all the way to maybe May 15th, there was like a 3-day period that we didn't get many sales until it shot up again because a large number of sales occurred, and as you can see, it creates this type of like step-looking graph. Mostly the reason for this is because, once again, you do need a buyer for your items. So if it's just sitting on the auction house, it doesn't really do you any good until it actually sells. And because of this, you do need to give yourself some grace period. Now, the amount of time that you can actually spend farming a day completely depends on your schedule. You might have kids, you might have school, you might have a job, and some things limit you on how much you can play. However, I would highly suggest you at least farm about 2 hours a day. That is exactly 2 farms, whether it is ore, whether it's skinning, or anything like that. That it gives you 2 farms to do a day, and it will take about 2 hours of your time. Now, of course, if you cannot do that, then at minimum, you want to make sure you are doing 1 farm a day. However, 2 will be very, very good. and we will go into exact farms and how to pick the ones best for you, but allowing you to farm 2 farms every single day and make sure these are different farms. This will build your inventory. The reason for this is, as you can see, currently I only have about 65k. However, I have 135k of potential gold sitting inside of the auction house. So whenever these volatile fires sell, which eventually they will, I farmed these up on Sunday and currently it is Wednesday, so it's been about 3 days. They have not sold yet. However, once they do, that will be a big chunk of money and it will bring me a lot closer to that WoW token mark. However, you do have to give that grace period, and as you can see, the more you farm, the just larger amount of materials you will have on your auction house, which will increase that potential gold. For example, if you do volatile fire, if you do volatile water, air, life, whatever type of farm, if anybody needs those materials, you have a high chance of you having those materials bought from you, which increases your gold. Now, if you just have 5,000 volatile fire, that means in order to actually sell an item, they have to specifically be looking into volatiles and specifically looking at volatile fire, which becomes a lot harder to actually get a sale because instead of being in 5 different markets, now you're only in 1 market and 1 item of that specific market. So the chance of you getting a sale slims down a ton, which is why you want to make sure that you are diversifying your farms and making sure you're completing enough in order to have enough stock on the auction house. The next point we're going to be talking about is actually cancel scanning. Now currently, since EU is not my main realm, I do not actually cancel scan, even though I should be. I post everything for 12 hours, I log in the morning, I post it all for 12 hours, I log in 12 hours later, post it again, and complete that for every day. So technically I am not cancel scanning at all, and I'm posting it twice a day. But as you can see, this is not a method I should be doing if I really want fast sales. As you can see, I actually posted this bunch 6 hours ago, and it's undercut by over 3,000 items. That means in order for somebody to even touch my 500 items right here, they have to buy over 3,000 items to get here, which is just not reasonable, especially for this old world material. As you can see, the region daily sold is only 121, which is pretty low compared to 3,000. So because of this, I need it to be canceling. Now the question is, did I get undercut after 5 minutes? Did I get undercut after 1 hour? Did I get undercut right before I filmed this video? I really have no idea, which is why you should always be checking back and always cancel scanning. If we just click through here, as you can see, most of my items are undercut, and I will just never receive sales because they are just so far down on the list inside the auction house. So to stop this, you need to actually run cancel scans, and as you can see, you can either go manually and actually cancel them, or you can use TSM to cancel them yourself. Now, the lucky thing with TSM is that you do not need operations set up to actually cancel. As you can see, I am using the hashtag default since I do not have anything set up on the actual EU realms. So I'm literally just going to cancel these because it just says somebody posted above you, so I'm going to cancel these. So I'm just going to go through here and cancel all of these. So if we want to look in the mailbox, as you can see, these are all the items that I am potentially losing because somebody else has posted in front of me and they are going to get the sale before I do. So not only is farming very, very important, but you also need to make sure that you are staying consistent with your auction house to make sure you are always first in line. Now we just go through and we just make sure, kind of skim, make sure there's not any crazy jumps, you're still okay with selling it at that price, and then you just post it back up. I posted for 12 hours because I know I will log back in the next 12 hours. However, you can set it to 24 and you can even set it to 48 if you know you're not going to play. However, after 48 hours, you are for sure going to be undercut and you're just going to be kind of wasting your deposit gold. But like I said, we're going to go through and we're just posting these right up. And this will give us a better chance of staying on top of the auction house and getting a sale. Alright, so we have gone over why I think farming is very important. I have talked about the best class as well as the best professions to choose. I have also talked about how much you should be farming per day as well as how much you should make a day, and also I have been looking over TSM data. So the last point we're going to be talking about is actually finding farms to do. Now there are just known farms that are always good because the materials that are needed for specific items, which I'm going to show you now, but I'm also going to show you how to find routes and everything yourself. There are two ways to do this. There's an add-on called Worth It, and you can go on here. This uses your TSM data. You can go into actually configuration and you can change your current price source. But as you can see, you are just using the minimum buyout right here. So it's the cheapest item on the auction house is going to be using that as the value. Now, if we go to farms, and let's say we want to do mining. Now, this will tell me exactly the estimated gold per hour whenever I do a certain farm and the sell rate, and also I can import a route if I choose so. So as you can see, the most expensive gold per hour farm I should be doing is Fell Iron. We can click this button and you can see that you get an average at about 130 Fell Iron per hour. You also get 168 adamantite, and then you get eternium, corthium, and some primals, and it just lists everything and your estimated gold per hour. It also tells you where you need to go to farm this, as well as your estimated sell rate. So you can choose whether to go based off your gold per hour. You can also choose whether you want to base it off the sell rate. For example, if we look at sell rates, the most fast selling item on here is the ghost iron ore. However, it is only making about a 5k per hour. So maybe doing 1 hour of ghost iron as well as 1 hour of fell iron would be a good mashup, because you will have fast selling ore as well as slow selling ore, which has a lot of value. Now, this is one nice way to do so, but also if you do not want to use add-ons or you do not want to use this specific add-on, there is a website to show you this as well. But quickly before we look at the website, as you can see, they have herbing, which you can look and see that. They also just have the random items that you can farm up, like the primals that I was talking about earlier, as well as the volatiles and everything like that. And it even has the essences listed on here as well. But I'm going to show you the website now, and we are going to move over to there. Now, the website that we're going to be looking at is wow-professions.com, and at the top, you will want to click on Farming Guides, and it will take you to the screen right here. Now, it currently has basically all the items in the game and exactly how to farm them. So, we have Shadowlands farming, which is very valuable to do. If you guys choose to do that route, 100% you can go farm this way. However, I am focusing on old world items in this guide because not everybody has Shadowlands. But of course, if you do have Shadowland, you can calculate the profit yourself and you can definitely look at those. However, if we keep scrolling down, we will see Battle for Azeroth, and then we will see old world farming guides, which is what we are exactly looking for. Now, these are based on professions. So as you can see, we have the ore and we also have the leathers. And if we keep scrolling down, there's also the herbs at the bottom. But taking a quick look, the best ores to look at, I'm just going to go down the list, is thorium is very good because of arcane crystals. Fell iron is very good. Cobalt, serenite, obsidian, ghost iron, and elementium. Those are my top 7 ores out of these lists. I would only pick from those 7. I would not really focus on any of the other ones. But for example, we can look at cobalt. So if we click on this, as you can see, it will tell you exactly what you need to do. It tells you to remember that you need to learn Northrend mining before you start farming this. Please keep in mind that whenever you are doing farms for the first time with your professions, you are going to get less than normal because you have to level those said professions. If you guys do not already have the actual professions learned and leveled up, you're going to get a lot less ore than what you would if you had max level. And the only way to level is just to keep doing the farms. So this is saying that yes, you might have mining learned, but you need Northrend mining because this is a Wrath ore. So it's telling you to go to Old Dalaran to make sure you pick up Northrend mining, or you'll be only getting 1 ore. After that, it tells you the exact routes that you can take and their opinion on them. For example, it is saying that this zone is the best place to mine, however, sometimes it's heavily farmed. So they give you alternatives depending on how popular they are, and they also give just give you a nice summary about each place. But basically what you will do is just go in game. You can pull this up on a second monitor, or if you don't have 2 monitors, you can put them side by side on your same screen, or you can even take a picture with your phone and prop it up against your computer, and then you will just want to go on this route in game and look for all the cobalt ore. I feel like this is the easiest way in order to find routes, and soon enough, once you start doing a few hours of it, it will get just lodged into your brain and you will know exactly what to do. This basically is just emulated across all the ores and tells you the best thing to do. So like I said, the best ores to do would be thorium, fell iron, cobalt, serenite, obsidian, elementium, and ghost iron. With leather, I would suggest Borean. I would also suggest Savage and Exotic. For herbs, I would suggest Cinderbloom, Ajara's Veil, as well as Whiptail, and everything else I would not really suggest doing. But those are my personal suggestions. Of course, if something is very expensive on your server, you can look out for that and everything like that. Also, those are all profession-based farms. We also have group farms as well as just open world farms. For example, Volatile Water, if you click on this right here, you basically go to this little triangle spot on the Twilight Highlands. You just kill all of the elementals inside this region. It does not require profession. You are just strictly looting them. However, to do these, you also want to make sure you have a 5-man group in order to make the most out of your time. So you can use the group finder inside of the game, or you can join my Discord, and we have NA and EU group finders. So you can type in, hey guys, I'm doing a farm. Anybody want to join? And you can either join somebody else's farm or others can find your farm. But these are very, very good group farms. You can also look up videos and find exact routes or anything like that. However, these are very suggested and I get a lot of sales on these group farms. The ones I would suggest is Essence of Water because there's a possible of a pet dropping as well. I would also recommend Primal Fire as well as Primal Shadow and Life. I would also suggest all of the volatiles besides Earth and Life. And then lastly, I would also recommend Spirits of Harmony inside of Pandaria. Those are simply just some farms I would suggest. If you want, you can click on these. They'll give you routes, you can read up more about them and everything like that, and they will give you exactly how to do them. But yeah, that is basically it. And lastly, we're just going to go in-game real fast to make sure we can calculate our hourly profits. Now, going back in game, if we do want to look up worth it, and let's say we want to go farm cobalt ore. For example, currently, to farm cobalt ore, you're going to get an average at about 226 per hour. Now, that is just an average. You might get a little bit more, and you also will probably get a little less if it's your first time farming and you have low profession skill. But to make sure we can calculate the amount per hour, we can type in here, and as you can see, the cobalt ore is actually pretty expensive, and if we just type in 226, we are going to get about that 10k mark. Now, I know this says that right there, but if you do not have worth it, you can just go on Reddit, you can go on Google and look up like average amount for an hour of thorium, for an hour of serenite example, and it will tell you the average, and then you can just go in here, type in the price, and get your total that would be your estimated hourly input. Of course, you could also just get this add-on, it's called Worth It, and it will tell you there as well. But yeah, guys, that is basically it. This is how I go about making enough gold. Currently, I have made about 6k a day, and also I've made about 65k with only 6 hours of farming. Now, if we want to go by our 2-hour rule, that means that this was technically only 3 days worth of farming, and yes, it took about 10 days because I am not focusing on this realm, because it's a different region. However, if we want to use our theoretical example, 6 hours of farming would be 3 days of work, and so we were able to make 65k in 3 days of work. Of course, you might not have everything sold in 3 days because you do need to give some grace period. However, if you want to multiply that 3 days of work by 10, that will make your 30 days, which then would be equal to about 650,000 gold of total profit that you could possibly get every single month if you do about 2 hours of farming a day. Of course, there are going to be those times where things are slow sellers and some time when things are fast sellers, especially around this time where TBC has just released. There's going to be a lot of people stopping playing retail in order to play classic, which means there's not going to be as many sales. However, when 9.1 picks up, there's going to be a lot of more returning players and sales are going to pick up again. However, things will always sell as long as you just give them time to and you are making sure that you're staying on top of the undercutting. For example, we've been recording for just a little bit, and if we look, everything is already undercut. Some things are not. However, if we want to look at Pyrite, as you can see, I literally just posted this 13 minutes ago, and it is already undercut by 16. My Primal Fire that I also posted 13 minutes ago, it is now undercut by 52. So that's what I'm saying. Definitely, if you're on a high pop server, you need to make sure that you are undercutting and reposting. That is just as important as just farming. But yeah, guys, I apologize for this long breakdown video. However, I hope it is helpful to you. I hope to anybody out there struggling to make gold, I hope this kind of helps you guys and brings you guys into a direction to actually make enough in order to pay for your monthly subscription every single month. But yeah, guys, thank you so much for watching. Be sure to check out my Patreon if you want to support me in some type of monetary way. Also, be sure to check out my Twitch. I live stream 4 days a week where you can get this type of help, but live. Also, you can check out my Discord. We have hit 1,000 members, which is insane, and there's so many helpful people inside of that Discord, and it's just a great place to hang out every single day. But yeah, guys, thank you so much for watching. Leave a like, comment, and subscribe if you enjoyed the video, or tell me how I can improve, and have a good day.